The morning my daughter looked through me like I didn't exist. Something inside me cracked in a way I can't fully explain. I was kneeling on the cold marble floor of the main lobby, wiping away a ring of dried coffee from the night before. The building was already buzzing, heels clicking, elevator doors opening and closing, confident voices echoing under the high glass ceiling. Then I heard her laugh, bright, polished, the kind of laugh she uses when she wants to impress people. "Just ignore the cleaning staff," she whispered to the two girls walking beside her. "They're always around." Cleaning staff. I kept my head down. My hand stopped moving for just a second, but I didn't look up. I didn't want her friends to see recognition in my eyes. I didn't want her to feel exposed, because she didn't know. She didn't know that I worked in the same building she bragged about every night at dinner. She didn't know that the man holding that mop helped build the company from the ground up. And she definitely didn't know that I wasn't there because I had to be. Before I tell you what happened next, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Stories of Mr. Dreamer. These stories aren't just about drama. They're about family, pride, mistakes, and second chances. And what happens later in this story, you don't want to miss. My name is Daniel Carter. I'm 58 years old. I used to work in finance. For over 2 decades, I lived in suits, meetings, airport lounges, and late-night negotiations. I understood numbers better than most people understand emotions. But life has a way of rearranging priorities. My wife, Margaret, was the center of my world. She was the calm to my ambition, the steady voice when I got carried away with risk. When she was diagnosed with cancer, everything stopped. I stepped away from my job without hesitation. Titles didn't matter anymore. Bonuses didn't matter. The only thing that mattered was being there, driving her to treatments, sitting beside her hospital bed, holding her hand when the pain became too much. Cancer doesn't just take a person. It takes savings. It takes security. It takes the future you planned. The medical bills came fast, faster than I expected. Insurance covered some, but not enough. We sold our second car, then the lake cabin we barely used. Then we refinanced the house. Through all of it, I kept one thing untouched. Years before Margaret got sick, a young entrepreneur pitched a startup idea to a small group of private investors. Most people in that room thought he was dreaming too big. The technology sounded risky, the market uncertain, but I saw something in his projections. Not perfection, but potential. I invested a significant portion of our long-term savings into that company. Margaret trusted me. "If you believe in it," she told me, "then I believe in you." When her treatments became expensive, several friends advised me to sell those shares. "Be practical," they said. "You can't gamble right now." But I wasn't gambling. I was patient. I sold almost everything else instead. And when Margaret passed away 2 years later, I was left with a quiet apartment, a heavy heart, and those untouched shares. Then something unexpected happened. The company took off. Contracts poured in, investors lined up. Within a few years, that small startup moved into a glass high-rise downtown and became one of the fastest-growing tech firms in the region. My early investment multiplied beyond anything I imagined. I was financially secure, very secure, but security doesn't fill silence. After the funeral, after the condolences faded, I found myself sitting alone most evenings, staring at walls that no longer echoed with Margaret's voice. Money didn't help with that. I needed routine. I needed movement. I needed to feel like I was still part of something alive. So I made a decision that would confuse most people. I applied for a job as a night cleaner in the very building I had helped finance. My shares were managed through a private trust. My name wasn't advertised. The CEO and a few board members knew me personally, but I had never asked for recognition. I preferred distance. The hiring manager had no idea who I was when I applied. I didn't use connections. I didn't mention investments. I just filled out the form like anyone else, and I got the job. There's something humbling about cleaning a building after everyone leaves. You see the real version of a company, the coffee cups left behind, the messy desks, the sticky notes filled with ambition. You understand that no matter how big the dreams are during the day, someone still has to empty the trash at night, and I didn't mind. Then my daughter Emily graduated. Emily has always been brilliant, driven, restless. She inherited my ambition, but not Margaret's patience. When she told me she had landed a marketing position at a major tech company downtown, her eyes were glowing. "Dad, this place is incredible. The CEO is a genius. The investors are powerful. This company is going global." I smiled and asked for the company's name. When she said it, I felt a quiet twist in my chest. She had been hired at the same company. I didn't tell her at first. It felt harmless. We worked opposite shifts. She arrived as I was finishing. I left before her meeting started. Sometimes during my rounds, I'd pass her desk. I'd see her name on the screen, Emily Carter, marketing associate. I would pause for a moment just to feel proud. But slowly, I noticed a change in her. Her conversations at dinner shifted. She began measuring people differently. "Dad, everyone there is so impressive," she'd say. "You can tell who's going places." One evening, she looked at me thoughtfully. "Have you ever thought about doing something?" "How more?" "More," I asked. "More professional," she clarified gently. "You're smart. Cleaning doesn't really reflect that." I nodded slowly. "It reflects that I work." She didn't argue. The discomfort was there. A few days later, she added something that stayed with me. "If anyone from work ever sees you, just try not to make it awkward." Awkward. That word echoed in my mind the day I heard her in the lobby with her friends. Just ignore the cleaning staff. I went home that night feeling older than 58. It's not because of the job, but because somewhere along the way, my daughter had learned to equate dignity with status. A week later, I received an email from Mark Thompson, the CEO. "Daniel, we're holding our annual investor strategy meeting next Friday. It would mean a lot if you attended in person." I stared at the message for a long time. That same Friday, Emily had mentioned presenting data in front of senior leadership and major stakeholders. I replied, "I'll be there." On Friday morning, I didn't put on my work uniform. Instead, I opened the garment bag in my closet and pulled out a navy suit Margaret bought me years ago. I adjusted the tie carefully. My hands trembled slightly, not from fear, but from emotion. At the building entrance, security immediately recognized my name on the list. "Good morning, Mr. Carter." It had been a while since I heard that tone. Inside the executive conference room, department heads sat around a long glass table. Investors joined via large screens. At the far end, Emily was seated with her laptop open. When I walked in, she glanced up casually. Her expression changed in stages. Confusion, recognition, shock. Mark stood up immediately and shook my hand firmly. "For those who may not know," he said warmly to the room, "Daniel Carter is one of our earliest investors. He believed in this company before we had floors to clean." Soft laughter filled the room. Emily's face turned pale. The presentation continued. Growth charts, expansion strategies. Applause. I listened carefully. Asked thoughtful questions. I spoke as someone who understood both numbers and people. Then Mark turned to me. "Daniel, would you like to say a few words?" I stood slowly. "I invested in this company because I believed in its future," I began. "But more than that, I believed in the people who would build it." I paused. "For the past few years, I've had the privilege of walking these halls in a different role." Whispers spread. "I've seen this company at midnight. I've seen the cleaning crew making sure every desk is ready for the morning. I've seen security staff stay alert while others sleep. I let my eyes move across the room until they met. Emily's. No title here defines a person's worth. Not CEO, not manager, not cleaner. Silence filled the space. Company's strength isn't just measured by revenue. It's measured by how we treat the people whose work we rarely notice. When I sat down, the room felt different. After the meeting, Emily rushed out before anyone could speak to her. I found her standing alone in a quiet hallway. "Dad," her voice broke. "Why didn't you tell me? Would it have changed how you saw me?" I asked gently. Tears rolled down her face. "I was embarrassed," she admitted, "not because of you, because I thought other people would judge me." I stepped closer. "Emily, if someone judges you for your father's honest work, they're not someone worth impressing." She covered her face with her hands. "I forgot where I came from." "No," I said softly. She hugged me tightly, the kind of hug she used to give when she was a child afraid of thunderstorms. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I know," I said. "And I love you." That hasn't changed. In the weeks that followed, something shifted in her. She began greeting every member of the cleaning crew by name. She thanked them. She stayed late sometimes just to understand how operations worked after hours. Not because I embarrassed her, because she learned. And me, I kept my job. Not because I needed the paycheck, but because humility is something you practice daily. If this story meant something to you, share it with someone who needs a reminder that dignity doesn't come from a title. And tell me in the comments, have you ever judged someone by their job, only to realize you were wrong? Like this video, and subscribe to Stories of Mr. Dreamer for more powerful stories about family, respect, and second chances. Sometimes the person holding the mop is the one holding the foundation together.